last week we were greeted with some good news. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust increasing monthly pensions by 10% for the year 2021. What this means is that all pensioners on the SSNIT pension payroll as of December 31, 2020 would have their monthly pension increased by a fixed rate of 9.34%, representing the annual average price inflation, plus a redistributed flat amount of 6 cedis, 47 pesos. Well, here with me to discuss is CEO of Game & Game Group, also labor consultant, Osengame. Thanks for your time tonight, sir. I want to first start with what you make of the 10% monthly increment. Just enough or more could be done?
Thank you. Ordinarily, 10% may sound quite good, but in the present state of our, living, obviously 10% is not enough and cannot be enough for a pensioner whose livelihood depends perhaps solely on this sort of income. Because you and I know that pensioners, most of them, or a lot of them, do nothing again. That's all they live on. And so certainly it's not enough, and they could have gotten more. But that's what they have in the interim, and that's perhaps why we are discussing it now.
I've heard people say last year was a difficult year because of the pandemic, and SSNIT has had so much responsibility on it. That takes me to the next point, because today I heard you on radio. You made a point about less involvement of government in the operations of SSNIT.
Certainly, going forward, I certainly desire and I wish those who constitute the board will recognize the enormity of the assignment on their head to ensure that the investable funds are really put into good use for high yielding returns, so that they can in turn organize and pay the pensioners a better pension. Clearly, we all know how governments yesterday and government today and tomorrow to come will continue to be sourcing funds from SSNIT, if possible. SSNIT itself, the management team, if you like, the board of directors or trustees, perhaps not fully investing the fund as we expected them to do. And so it is very important at this point in time that all of us, putting aside the so-called partisan so-called politics, confront this issue headlong and ensure that we speak about it freely and not having in mind personalities, but the substantive of the issues should concern all of us, especially my friends from organized labor who are on the board, because they are the conscience of the working people who are representing them there. So they must ensure that these funds are fully invested, not just in high-yielding returns that we want, but tangible things. When people retire and they are unable to put up houses, and often they are unable to put up houses, they now return to their family homes and struggling over a one-bedroom house, culminating into some of them they are deaf. So I think that it's important that SSNIT will find ways and means of constructing houses all over the place, not just in Accra, Tema, and Takoradi, all over the place, that people who have contributed in one way or the other will become the beneficiaries. People are going to be contributing for, let's say, 20 years, 25 years, some 30 years, without touching a farthing. When they return, when they are back on pension, they should not become victims of the circumstances of our poor management system. I have confidence in the SSNIT people if they will be free to manage the funds fully without pressures. That I think they will do. And so it is a call today, and Some of us would like to be drumming it minute by minute, and I'm grateful for your station doing that as well.
Yeah, and as we know it now, government borrows from SSNIT, and it takes usually a long time for government to pay back, if ever at all it does pay back in time. And so you also talk about the politics of this. So who should take the lead in championing this, do you think?
Number one and principal in this matter is the organized labor's representatives on the SSNIT board. Number two, we the citizenry ourselves. Let's all go by what even our president said, that look, we should not be spectators. We should ensure that we demand accountability. Accountability goes with responsibility. People must be seen doing their work. I have a lot of respect for everybody in the system in Ghana here doing whatever they've been assigned to do, but let's do it well. Let's not hold the thing on the periphery and holding it as if it's something that it's not yours. All of us need money, belongs to all of us. I can tell you, I have not collected a farthing of my money yet. Very deliberate on my part. I don't want to be seen as if I'm pressurizing anybody for anything. But SSNIT must be seen to be doing its work and doing it well. And when I refer to SSNIT, not only the management and staff of SSNIT, the board of directors are key in this matter. They should have the boldness to tell to government must be able to, whoever is there, should be able to bring its plate properly. And let's see if you borrow this money, how long will you return the money? What you have to pay on top of it? And if it goes beyond that period, what else should be done? And we should be able to go and FIFE something that belongs to government and collect the money. It's people's money you are holding. It's not government money. It's not the employer's money. It's people's money being managed by people who are privileged to be on the board and to be in the management team.
And the thinking is that SSNIT will become more viable, and then hopefully next year or very soon, we may see more than 10% in terms of increase on monthly pensions. But just before I let you go, I mean, last year was a difficult year in terms of labor issues because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And just at the beginning of this year, we are seeing bits of it happening in some companies. With the pandemic still in place, and with companies struggling and with issues of layoffs going around, how can we minimize labor agitations in 2021, do you think? My last question to you.
It's very important. And people should recognize that this is not going to let go in 5 minutes. And Ghana is not an island. We live in a commonwealth of nations. The truth is that the pandemic is going to have a real toll upon nations, including Ghana. And therefore, all employers, unions, indeed governments, we must recognize that and up our games. Our management skill must be tripled. Otherwise, we cannot stand anything. And I'm talking to myself and talking to everybody. Our management skill must be tripled and quadrupled. The point is that if you take example of our hospitality industries, they are completely in tatters.
Yeah.
And therefore, unions, employers, and working people will have to take ownership together and find how best to manage the system and have returns that can survive all of them. If you want to have a pound of flesh, you cannot stand it. And I'm trying to say that where it is possible, in labor relations, where it is possible to lay off people without necessarily paying them, so that you have a guaranteed assurance for them that when the company returns to normalcy, let's say after 3 months or 6 months, as the case may be, then you are guaranteed your job of continuity. That way you are protecting your back. Right. But if we are demanding excessive payment, 100% payment as if work is normal, even 50% as if work is normal, you will live to regret it. So I want to suggest strongly that unions, employers should get together quickly. And even the first place it should happen is that there should be a national tripartite committee meeting where this matter will be discussed extensively, if it will mean expanding it, involving other people. So we will all come to terms of what is happening, because it's not going to stop. The COVID is not going to stop today. It's not going to stop tomorrow.
Okay.
We are going to experience a second wave in Ghana. Other countries are experiencing it already. And so if we think it will be a game as usual, we will live to regret.
Second wave, that's scary. Thanks for your thoughts tonight, sir. Really appreciate it. That was Chief Executive of Gamma and Gamma Group, also a labor consultant, Austin Gamma, sharing some thoughts on the increase in monthly pensions by 10% and also what to look forward to in terms of labor in 2021.